hearing on temporary orders, cause number 41017, in the matter of Mary Renee Sills and Mark Anthony Williams Sills. Ms. Shoemaker, how says the petitioner?
Nina Shoemaker, for the petitioner, we are ready, Your Honor.
And you are Mark Anthony Williams Sills?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready to proceed this morning?
I assume.
All right. Ms. Shoemaker?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to call my client to the stand.
And who is that for the record?
Mary Renee Sills.
All right. Ms. Sills, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give and the matter now in hearing before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God?
Yes.
You might want to turn. All right. We can hear you now. All right. Ms. Shoemaker?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Sills, can you please state your full name for the court?
Mary Renee Sills.
Okay. Did you review the summary of requested relief that I prepared?
Yes.
Is that an accurate representation of the request you are making in this case?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would like to offer the summary of requested relief as an aid for the parties and the court.
All right. Let me pull it up here just a minute. Okay, Exhibit A is are the text messages. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Facebook
right.
posts.
Petitioner's Exhibit A is admitted.
The summary of requested relief, right? I'm gonna. Ms. Sills, did you send me some Facebook posts from June 3rd of 2023 until now?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I share my screen?
Excuse me?
May I share my screen?
Certainly, please do.
Thank you. Ms. Sills, I'm showing you what I've marked as Petitioner's Exhibit A. Do you recognize this document?
I do.
What are these? What are the pictures of these? What does represent?
My husband's textbook. My husband's Facebook post.
How do you need these Facebook posts are from your husband, Mr. Mark Sills?
That's a picture of him.
Okay, so it's I'm sorry.
He's had that same Facebook for quite a long time.
Okay, so is that the way Mr. Sills normally write, or the language that he uses?
Yes.
Have you altered these Facebook posts in any way?
No.
Your Honor, I would like to offer Petitioner's Exhibit A as into evidence.
All right. Petitioner's Exhibit A is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Sills, how long have you lived in Gray County?
17 years, 16, 17 years.
Okay, and in Texas for longer than 6 months, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and then I'll be back to my screen in a little bit. Are you currently married to Mark Anthony William Sills?
Yes.
Do you have any kids together?
No.
Did you get married on or about December 31st, 2013?
Yes.
And separated on or about May 6th of 2023?
Yes.
Why did you separate, Mr. Sills?
I couldn't take his drinking and his abuse anymore.
Okay. And where did you go when you separate Mr. Sills?
To the shelter for the second time.
Okay. Does Mr. Sills have a history of violence against you?
Yes.
Was the abuse emotional, physical, mental, or sexual?
It was emotional, mental, verbal, and sexual.
How did Mr. Sills abuse you emotionally?
Just the things he would say to me.
What are some of the things?
He told me that I was less than a woman. He used to refer to me as his ex-wife, Linda. Um, just made me feel less than. Threatened me all the time, telling me he would burn the house down. Good luck trying to get out. Just made me feel very small.
Okay. Do you have any medical issues?
Do
When was the last time that you were in the hospital?
I believe I gotta look at my papers. Is that all right, sir? Because I'm not good at dates anymore. It was the 2nd of March that I had my major stroke. And I've had one previous stroke. Other than that, I don't remember the date. And I've had 3 TIAs that sent me to the hospital.
Okay, so do you have, when you were in the hospital, was Mr. Seals there with you?
No,
And then when you were discharged from the hospital, were you able to feed yourself?
slowly,
Were you able to get dressed?
slowly,
Were you able to walk?
slowly. I was learning how to redo everything.
Okay. Did Mr. Seals take care of you?
For the first weekish,
So what happened after the first week?
I was doing my steps and I went into his bedroom and he informed me that he was going to go and be satisfied for another woman, and that he'd be back. And then he proceeded to call her, and just everything turned into a nightmare. And I made it my mission to get better on my own.
What do you mean that he was gonna see another woman to be satisfied?
He was going to go have sexual relationships with her.
How did that make you feel?
Horrible. I just had a stroke.
Okay. Your
Very
Honor,
confused. I told him, thank you for your honesty, and asked him why he was doing this to me. I'm
Your
less
Honor,
than a woman now.
may I share my screen again, please?
Excuse me?
May I share my screen again?
You may.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Ms. Seals, can you see the first Facebook post that is on the screen?
Yes.
Can you please read what it says?
You know what's funny? I would tell Renee to suck my no woman left in her. That's why she left. Thank God.
Thank you. So while you were recovering from your stroke, do you remember one day when you were sitting in the chair, what did Mr. Seals do to you?
Mr. Sills has a habit of walking up behind me and screaming. He's ex-military and screaming as loud as he can. And he kind of prides himself that he never has to touch me, that all he has to do is stroke me out. And I was sitting in the chair. I had been suffering from migraines, and I was going to go see this headache doctor, and they had sent me the forms to fill out. And so I was sitting there and I was filling out the form. And forgive my language, but he walked up behind me and what the are you doing now? Why can't you just stay in your where you belong? And then he was right here, and I thought he was gonna push me out of the chair. And then he stormed out of the house, and I looked at it as my only opportunity to get out of there because I was scared to death.
Okay, so at that time you were not able to walk by yourself, right?
Very slowly. Everything was slowly. I was learning again.
So you needed like a walker?
I used a walker around the house some, but I was basically holding onto walls because of how choppy our house was. But when I walked, I had to use a walker.
So when Mr. Seals came on the back and yelled at you, how did you feel?
Scared to death. Scared to death. He's got a temper like nobody else's I've ever seen in my life. He's a madman when he gets angry.
Okay. You also mentioned that Mr. Seals sexually abused you. Can you please tell us a little bit about that?
I have a medical condition where the lining of my uterus is gone. And so sex hurts. It's like bone on bone, and it really hurts. And he didn't believe me. I guess he thought it was him or whatever, that I just didn't enjoy sex. So I took him to my doctor with me so the doctor could explain to him. And the doctor said, you got to have lots and lots and lots and lots of lube. And Mr. Sills for 10 years kept talking about husband sex and I told him it was off the table because of some childhood trauma I had. And I guess with all the lube and everything, he just decided that he was going to make it show me that it would be less painful. And he proceeded to solve it that way.
That's nowhere near true.
You'll get an opportunity to testify here in a minute, Mr. Sills.
So did you and Mr. Seals argue about sex all the time?
We did.
Okay, may I share my screen again, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
You may.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to show you Exhibit A again, and I want you to read the post on page number 2. Can you read the first 3 lines, please?
Yes. Looking back, Renee loved sex for the first week, and then she said it hurt every time after that. That we'll say, let's try something new, and then call the police and say I raped her.
Thank you. Did you ever call the police, Mrs. Seals?
No, I didn't. I
Okay.
called the police to get me to my own safety one time, but I didn't make a police report until I was after at Tralee for the first time.
Okay. So what happened if you didn't want to have sex?
He would just
Stay in my room.
he'd get an attitude, but he'd leave me alone.
What did he used to tell you if you didn't want to have sex?
Well, he told me he would go somewhere else a couple times. As a matter of fact, he thought in his mind that we had an open relationship, I guess. Not true, by the way.
Did Mr. Seals abuse alcohol while you were together?
In my opinion, yes.
How did he act when he was drunk?
Temper. Just temper.
Was he violent?
He liked to pace the floors and argue with himself and anybody else that he could argue with.
Okay.
Argue on Facebook a lot.
Okay. So, how does that make you feel that Mr. Seals shares all these posts in his public Facebook?
It's embarrassing. It makes me feel small.
Okay, so I'm going to switch gears now and let's talk a little bit about your property. Did you and Mr. Seals buy a house together?
Yes.
What is the address of the house?
1020 Alcock, Tampa, Texas.
Not the house before we went.
7906.
Mr. Sales, you'll get an opportunity to testify in a moment.
So, Ms. Seals, do you know if the deed of the house is in both of your names?
It is in both of our names.
Okay. Was this your marital residence?
I'm sorry?
Was this your marital residence the last time that you lived as husband and wife?
Yes.
Who lives in that house now?
Mr. Sills, but I do believe that he's said on Facebook a few times that he was trying to get other women to move in with him.
Your Honor, I'm going to share my screen again. May I?
You may.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to show you Exhibit A again, pages 3 and 4. Would you please read this Facebook post?
So Renee knows your shit will be in boxes on the porch. When I set them out, you have 1 day to come and get them while I am with Shane. If you don't pick up, going to put it all outside AA. What happens then on you? You have your official warning. I guess that means warning.
And then would you please read this Facebook post?
Hey, you guys, guess what? I'm getting my house in order so that if Brianna decides to give this a try, she can at least come to house that she can say, if nothing else, he keeps his house up.
Okay, so Mr. Sills is living in the house and you had to go to the shelter, is that right?
Correct.
Can you
Yes.
Can you work?
No.
Do you have enough money to pay for your expenses?
No.
Okay. Are you asking this court that to give you temporary possession of the marital residence?
Yes.
Are you also requesting this court to give you some temporary spousal support?
Yes.
Do you know if Mr. Seals work?
Yes.
Do you know where does he work?
Yes.
Do you have any idea how much does he make a month?
It varies. Usually anywhere from I would say $200 to $400 a week. So maybe 8, 12. I don't know. I can't do math. Numbers are not my friend.
Okay. Does he have any other income?
Yes.
What is the other income?
He collects SSI.
Perfect. No further questions, Your Honor. I pass the
All right.
witness.
Mr. Sales, do you have any questions for this witness? Like I say, if you wish to testify, you'll be given that opportunity. But right now, if you have questions, you may ask Mrs. Sills any questions.
Renee, I've done nothing to you. I've done nothing but took care of you.
Objection,
You
objection,
know
Your
that.
Honor. That is not a question. That's a statement.
Yeah, sustained. Mr. Sills, if you wish to testify, you'll be given that chance. Right now, do you have any questions for this witness?
Okay. She said I raped her. Are you the one that bought the little toy that you say I used?
Objection, Your Honor. She never mentioned anything about that.
She can answer if she knows.
We did go to the sex shop. My friend was getting married and we were having a panty party. And while we were there, we picked up some toys, but that is not what he used when he had sex with me. Anal sex with me. That is not what he used.
Mr. Sills, any more questions?
No.
Ms. Shoemaker, anything else for this witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank
All right.
you. Miss Sills, why did you agree to buy those toys?
Trying to please my husband. Maybe I thought maybe that if we got something into the bedroom, it would please him, but nothing ever did.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Do you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor. We close and rest.
All right. Mr. Sills, do you have anything you'd like to tell the court?
Yeah, I bought the house.
You need to raise your right hand, sir. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in the matter now in hearing before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Say, help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You
Okay.
need to state your name for the record and then tell the court what you want me to hear.
Okay. My name is Mark Anthony William Sills. I bought the house before we had actually ever even married. I got in an auto accident and received $250,000 as a settlement, which automatically I put $10,000 in Renee's account. She didn't really want me buying the house. She wanted to move up to my sister in Illinois. Anyway, the house was $16,000. Pete said he would sell it to me for the simple fact that he knew I would take care of it. That I painted it when I first came here. I painted the house for Renee, so it just looked better. I have never, ever tried to fight and argue with Renee in any way, shape, or form. I do help Shane Dyer part-time. It's not a lot of money, but whenever I did do that, did I not, Renee, give you half of it every week, every time? I ain't never forced myself on her in any way, shape, or form. She did contact some sheriff here. I can't remember what her name is. And I called her, told her, hey, I'm more than happy to take a lie detector test at any time. That she's the one that bought the toy. I had nothing to do with none of that. I never even knew we were going to a sex shop. I never fought with her about anything. I mean, when she got up that day, she said she was going to the doctor's, left, and she never came back. I haven't seen her since. I haven't talked to her. Did I say some things that were probably out of being teed off? Yes, I probably did. But that's all it was. It ain't never, manifested itself in any way towards her or harm. I don't see her. I don't bug her. I don't try and call her. She called me one time and I told her, hey, look, I want nothing to do with you. You're the one that got up and left. I can get any one of my family members that will tell you the same thing.
Anything else?
No.
Ms. Shoemaker, any questions?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
All right.
So, Mr. Seals, isn't that right that Miss Seals bought the house and she was paying the house where you're living at right now?
No,
married.
Not at all. Not at all. Matter of fact, I'd like to have her produce a document, some kind of agreement that says that she was paying on that house with Pete before I bought it.
Okay, so you're saying that Miss Seals was paying for that house, right?
No,
Before
she
you
was
bought
not
it.
paying for the house.
Was she living in that house before?
Rent.
Was she
Well,
going to buy the house?
listen, Mr. Sills, you'll need to let Ms. Shoemaker finish her question before you answer. And I'm going to ask her to let you finish your answer before she asks the next question. Both of you can't talk at the same time. All right? Ms. Shoemaker?
Thank you, Honor. I'm sorry. Mr. Seals, isn't the right that Miss Seals lived in that house and was paying that house to buy it?
No, it is not.
And isn't true that you went ahead and paid the balance that was Miss Seals was still owing without her consent?
No, it is not. Matter of fact, she was in the kitchen when I bought the house. Pete Gores said he would sell me the house $1,000 over what it was appraised for, $16,000.
All right, listen, Mr. Sills, Ms. Shoemaker, the court cannot divide property in a hearing for temporary orders. And so the only issue before the court today is who occupies 1020 Alcock, Pampa, Texas, until we get to the final hearing. And it very well may be, Mr. Sills, that you'll end up with the house if the court decides that Mrs. Sills should reside in it during the pendency of this divorce. Ms. Shoemaker, any other questions?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Let's see, Mr. Sills, anything else you'd like to tell the court?
So I can actually be thrown out on the street
That's
out
possible,
of my
sir.
own house, the house that I bought and paid for.
That's possible.
Amazing. Okay, I got nothing else to say. I think it's wrong. I bought the house before we were actually married.
This is not a finding by the court that you're going to lose the house today, Mr. Sills, because the court cannot divide property in temporary orders, and that's all this is a temporary order. Temporary, emphasize temporary.
And as far as my SSI, she gets more on SSI than I get.
All right.
Anytime I go to these little gambling rooms and that, every time I won anything, I have always split it dead in half with you. Have I not, Renee?
All right. Thank you, sir. Ms. Shoemaker, anything else?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. It's the order of the court then that the marital residence at 1020 Alcott, the petitioner, that is Mary Renee Sills, will have the exclusive use and possession of that residence temporarily during the pendency of this divorce, as well as the furniture, furnishings, and other personal property that she may own at that residence while this case is pending, and only while this case is pending. And Mr. Sills, you are enjoined from entering or remaining on the premises of that residence or exercising any possession or control of any of the personal property except as authorized by the court. Each party will possess the bank accounts in their name. So, Mr. Sills, you'll continue to have your bank accounts and any personal property that you have. The same for Miss Sills. You stated that you were paying her 1/2 of weekly payments that you got from the odd jobs that you did for Shane Dyer. You'll continue to do that. Let's see, Mr. Sills, was it your intent to hire a lawyer or try to represent yourself in this matter?
If need be, I will get an attorney. I mean, because all she's saying is not true.
Well, I think it would be wise to you, sir, to hire a lawyer and have that lawyer contact Miss Shoemaker. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any temporary restraining order will be made into a temporary injunction. The court standing order, which Mr. Sills, you should have received, which is attached to any pleading that you were served with.
Am I allowed to at least pick up some clothes and that from the house?
Yes, sir, you may do that. You'll need to vacate by 5 p.m. today. All right.
Okay.
And leave it in good condition. All right.
Nothing's going to happen to the house. I've been fixing it. I've been painting it.
Well, that's a good thing, sir. We appreciate that. Ms. Shoemaker, you'll prepare the order of the court.
Yes, Your Honor. Just one question, Your Honor. I'm sorry. You said half of the salary that he gets from his job weekly or monthly?
Excuse me?
Oh, that he needs to pay that weekly or monthly?
Well, how were you paying it before, Mr. Sills? You said you were paying her half of what you got from.
Yeah, every week when I get paid from doing little odd jobs from Shane, I would come home and give her half of it.
All right, you'll continue to do that. I think you'll need to.
No problem doing that.
All right, then you'll need to Ms. Shoemaker, that's weekly. So where would you like the payment sent since he can't go by the house?
Maybe to Trelly.
All right. You know where Traley offices are, Mr.?
I have no clue.
All right.
I'll include the address in the order, Your Honor.
All right. When you get the order from Ms. Shoemaker, that address will be in the order, Mr. Sills. All right. Good luck to both of you. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.